I want to know though, did you fire all 24 people individually? Like, did that take all day, or was like, oh man.
Yeah, well, this leads probably to one of the worst pieces of advice I've ever gotten in my career. So to give you context on this whole situation, I run a cannabis media company that has about 14 million people in it. And I have a team at the time. This is like circa 2017. Cannabis is blowing up in the US and in Canada. It's about to legalize in Canada. And everyone's predicting this market's just going to go crazy, right? So we're like, okay, we've got our 28-person team or whatever, 30-person team. And we've got contracts with some big guys that are going to all start to kick into play, and we're going to double revenue year over year. Everything on paper looked good. But all of a sudden, Canada legalized cannabis and it went nowhere. Like it kind of just was like, meow, 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 and the market just plummeted because it didn't amount to what it was supposed to be. So companies canceled contracts, the market went dry, and I had to make the tough decision to be like, damn, we got to make some quick changes here. So I called up a guy I know, and I was asking a bunch of people, how do you do this? And he's like, okay, Matt, it's really simple. You just bring everyone into a room and you just let them all know at once, you're fired. I'm like,
dude,
no,
that's so brutal.
And I'm like 25. Let's say.
Oh my God.
I don't know anything,
Yeah.
And I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Like, it just doesn't sound right.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, talked to some other people and they're like, no. Like, you need to do it this way. And I was like, okay. So, sure enough, that day, probably the worst day of my life, like, and put me into a 2-month depression. I think I gained 15 pounds. I could hardly get out of bed for 2 months. It was like shit. And one after the other, about 30-minute blocks per person, and just was like, hey, I hate to have to do this, but the market's gone this way. It's nothing to do with you. It's my fault as the founder. I overshot where this was going. I'm sorry this is going on. I appreciate the service you've given the company. If there's anything I can do to help you find your next thing, I'd love to. And I really appreciate all you've done for us. And I'm, again, sorry we have to do this, but yeah, there's just no position for you here, kind of thing, right? Mm-hmm. And then, sequentially just had to do that, 23 times that day. And it was brutal, like brutal. And, those people all took it like on the chin, and I'm proud of them because they've gone on, and many of them I'm still in touch with, to go and do amazing things. So yeah, I think what I learned from that experience, amongst many, many things, is, you got to always take any advice from anyone, right? And obviously put that through your own values, your own filter, your own judgment, obviously, right? Or else you end up in some weird spaces. And second is like, scaling like slower is actually beautiful. I think I was like really aggressive, thinking we were going to be like the next Facebook at the time or some shit. And I realized that, just like slow, steady, sustainable cash flow, beautiful growth is like really where it's at for me, at least, because I think at the end of the day, when I think about like what I'm really looking for, it's peace. And I'd say that peace to me, if there was a metric, is just like quality sleep at night. And I literally mean that I can go to bed at 10 and just have no night terrors and no nightmares, and just wake up in the morning and just be like, all right, let's go do some good stuff today, and not be worried that, oh my God, what's happening over here, or this crazy fire over there, right? It's just, we just want peace, want to build something cool, serve good people, and live a vibrant life.